Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
So I want to start today with a scenario that I think is, well, it's going to feel very familiar to just about everyone listening.
Oh boy.
You're in a high-stakes meeting, a client pitch, maybe a quarterly review. You're remote. You've
Yeah.
got your slide deck ready. You've rehearsed. You look down at your Wi-Fi icon, and it is just beaming at you, full bars.
A picture of health. The universal symbol for everything is fine.
Exactly. So you start talking, and maybe 30 seconds in, you see it. Everyone's faces just
I'm
freeze.
ready to freeze.
Then you get that unstable connection banner. Then the audio starts roboting, and you're just sitting there completely betrayed by your router thinking, but I have full bars. I pay for gigabit speed. Why is this happening?
It's modern gaslighting, really. You have all the indicators of success, strong signal, massive bandwidth, but the actual experience is a total failure.
And that disconnect is exactly what we're unpacking today. We have a stack of documents here from a company called Oka Networks, and they center around an ecosystem they call Oprobe. We've got their technical docs, some architecture diagrams, and sort of a manifesto on modern network performance. And the headline here, the thing that really sets the stage for this deep dive, is a very blunt instruction.
What's that?
Forget speed. Focus on latency.
Wow. Okay, that sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Forget speed. I mean, the entire telecom industry has spent billions marketing speed to us. 5G, fiber, gigabit.
Right, we're obsessed with it.
We're obsessed with the size of the pipe.
So the argument here is, I guess, it doesn't matter how wide the pipe is if the water is clogged somewhere.
That's close. Or think of it this way. It doesn't matter if you have a 10-lane highway, if your car has a flat tire and takes 10 seconds to respond every time you turn the wheel. That's latency.
Oh.
And what Coboxio Networks is arguing in these documents is that we've been looking at the wrong thing for, like, the last decade. We measure capacity, but what users actually feel is responsiveness.
So our mission today is to explore this shift. We're going to look at why those green lights in the IT dashboard are, well, basically lying. We'll see how this Oprobe system uses agents to find the truth, and we're even going to meet an AI named Vera, who seems to be doing the job of a data scientist.
I'm intrigued.
But let's start with the problem itself. The documents use this term, the experience gap, or in the original text, Deneim Buslue.
It's a great term. It really is.
It is. But let's be honest, everyone listening, especially the IT pros, they know gaps exist. They know a green light doesn't always mean a happy user. So what is this specific gap they're talking about?
Okay, so visualize the standard IT dashboard. You've got your server rack icon. It has a big green check mark next to it. Status, okay. CPU usage is low, memory is fine.
Pings are coming back, everything looks good.
From the perspective of the network engineer in the data center or looking at a cloud console, the system is perfect.
Right, the classic, I don't see a problem on my end.
The most hated phrase in tech support. Because on the other side of that diagram, you have the actual user. They're at home or in a coffee shop, and they're seeing a buffering wheel. They're seeing a database error. They're seeing lag.
So the gap is the distance between that green check mark on the server and the frustration on the user's face.
Exactly. That's the gap.
But why does that gap still exist? I mean, we have so many monitoring tools now, observability platforms. Why are we still missing the fact that the user is miserable?
It's because of where we're measuring. The source material makes a really, really critical point here. It says, and I'm quoting, synthetic tests performed on the server side often miss the real issues felt by the end user.
Synthetic tests. Let's unpack that. That sounds like, what, fake traffic?
Essentially, yeah, it's a simulation. A server might ping another server and say, hey, can you hear me? And the other server says, yep, check. That's a successful test.
Okay.
But that ping is a tiny packet of data on a clean backbone connection. It is not a 4K video stream trying to squeeze through a congested Wi-Fi channel in a building with concrete walls while a microwave is running next door.
Ah, okay. So the synthetic test is the happy path. It assumes this perfect, clean environment.
Exactly. It doesn't account for the messiness of the last meter, and that is where the experience gap lives. The server's fine, the ISP is fine, but the user's experience is broken because of local interference, or a bad device configuration, or just the sheer complexity of the real world.
So if you aren't measuring at the device,
You are not measuring reality.
that's a pretty scary thought for a CIO. It basically means your dashboard is a placebo. You look at it to feel better, not to know what's really happening.
It's worse than a placebo. It's a blindfold. The document says something like, measuring performance is meaningless unless you're measuring the experience felt by the user. If you can't see what they see, you're flying blind.
Okay, so we've established the problem, the green light lie. So let's talk about the fix. Oxa Networks introduces these Oprobe test suites. They talk about a holistic approach using agents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in tech, the word agent can mean a lot of things. What are we talking about here?
Think of them as investigative reporters you deploy into the field. Instead of sitting in the newsroom, which is the server waiting for stories, you send them out to where the action is. And Oprobe uses two specific types.
And looking at the diagram, they seem to cover opposite ends of the spectrum.
They do. First, there's the Oprobe web agent. The documentation says this one focuses on internet and cloud performance.
So it's looking outward.
Right. This agent is watching the highway. It monitors the connection to your SaaS apps, your Salesforce, your Zoom, Office 365, and the public internet. It tells you if the problem is out there somewhere.
Okay, that makes sense. But plenty of tools do that.
True. But the differentiator, and this is where the holistic part comes in, is the second piece, the Oprobe local agent. This one focuses on local network performance.
LAN, WAN.
And crucially, Wi-Fi. This is the guy inside the building.
Or even inside the device itself.
Exactly. This agent is looking at the local environment. Is the signal strength good? Is there channel interference? It's analyzing the messy part of the network the server just can't see.
Okay, I used an analogy earlier about the pipe. Let me try another one to see if I'm getting this right.
Yeah.
The old way, server monitoring, is like a traffic reporter in a helicopter.
Okay, I like where this is going.
The reporter looks down, sees the highway, and says, traffic is flowing at 65 miles per hour. It's all green. And technically, they're right. The cars are moving.
Huh.
But the Oprobe approach is like having that helicopter, but also having a guy sitting in the passenger seat of your specific car. The helicopter sees flow, but the passenger says, yeah, we're moving, but we just hit a massive pothole, the AC is broken, and I'm getting car sick.
That is the perfect analogy. Absolutely perfect. The web agent tells you the highway is clear, but the local agent tells you that your specific ride is miserable.
And if you're the IT manager,
And you only have the helicopter view, and a user calls complaining about the bumpy ride, you look at your screen and say, you're crazy. Traffic is moving fine.
and that's the gaslighting.
Exactly. You deny their reality because your data is incomplete. You can't see the pothole from the helicopter. You need that local agent to say, hey, the issue isn't the internet. The issue is this user is connected to an access point 3 floors down because their device didn't roam correctly.
Which happens all the time. I walk from one end of the office to the other, and my laptop clings to the old Wi-Fi for dear life.
And a server-side test will never, ever show you that. That is why this holistic approach mapping from the device through the local network all the way to the cloud is the only way to close that experience gap.
You have to see the whole chain.
The whole chain.
Okay, so we have these two agents, the helicopter and the passenger, and they're collecting all this data. Potholes, highway speeds, interference, jitter. It sounds like a massive amount of noise.
It is.
If I'm an IT admin, I don't want a million alerts telling me every time a car hits a bump.
And that is the classic problem with modern observability, right? Data overload. If you log everything, you see nothing. You just get alert fatigue.
So how does Oprobe handle all that noise? The ecosystem diagram shows everything flowing into this Oprobe.io platform.
Right. This is the central brain. It takes all those streams from the web agent, from the local agent, and ingests them. It handles the visualization, the archiving, all that. But the key piece here, the part that answers your question about noise, is a little box labeled Interpretation with AI.
And this is where we meet Vera.
Yes.
Now, I usually roll my eyes a little when companies give their AI a human name. It can feel like marketing fluff. But the text here is specific. It introduces her as Vera, the Oxa Networks AI engineer. Not a chatbot, an engineer. Is this just branding, or is she actually doing an engineer's job?
I think it's a bit of both, but the function they describe is very much that of a tier 1 or tier 2 analyst. I mean, think about what a human engineer does. They get an alert. They look at logs. They compare the web agent data to the local agent data. They hunt for patterns.
Is this just one person, or is it the whole department? Did this start right at 9:00 a.m.? All of which takes time, a lot of time. Vera automates that correlation. The source says she generates detailed reports and global network performance graphics. But the real job she's doing is filtering the signal from the noise. She isn't just saying latency is high. She's saying latency is high for users on this specific subnet, and it correlates with a spike in web agent traffic to this particular app.
So she connects the dots.
She connects the dots and hands the human a finished picture instead of a 1,000-piece puzzle. And in IT operations, that time saved is everything.
That leads perfectly into the next section of the material, which I found really compelling. It's a timeline comparison. Reactive intervention versus proactive management.
This is the holy grail for any IT department, isn't it?
Mm.
Everyone wants to be proactive, but almost everyone is stuck putting out fires.
So let's walk through the reactive nightmare first, the old way, because I think we've all lived this. Okay, scenario A, the traditional method. A problem starts. Let's say a switch is starting to overheat, or a cloud provider is having a minor issue.
But the lights are still green on the dashboard.
Usually, yes. Or it's intermittent, so nobody knows. Then a user feels it. Hey, why is Slack so slow? They tolerate it for a while, then they get annoyed, then finally, they complain.
And we all know users delay reporting, they reboot, they get coffee. So the problem might have been active for an hour before IT even gets a ticket.
Right. And now the ticket lands. Internet slow, the most unhelpful description in the world.
The worst.
Now the IT team enters the detection phase. The text notes this involves spending hours to find the root cause. They're hunting in the dark. Is it the firewall, the ISP, the user's laptop?
And during those hours, the user's doing zero work. Productivity is shot.
Productivity is 0. Frustration is 100. And eventually maybe they find the root cause and fix it, but the damage is already done.
Okay, that's the painful reality. Now let's look at the Oprobe and Vera timeline.
Okay, scenario B, the Oprobe approach. The problem starts. A latency spike on the local loop.
Does the user even notice?
Not yet, because within seconds, literally seconds, Vera detects the anomaly. And this is important. It's an AI proactive warning. It's not just a simple threshold alert, it's anomaly detection. Vera sees that performance has deviated from the established norm.
So before the user's video call actually drops.
The IT team gets an alert, something like, local agent reporting high latency on the 5 gigahertz band in conference room B.
Wow, root cause detected in seconds. That's the actual claim in the text.
And that speed just changes the whole game. If you know the root cause instantly, you can fix it, maybe switch the Wi-Fi channel, maybe throttle a bandwidth hog before the user even knows there was a problem.
Or at the very least, you can be proactive. Send a message. We know there's an issue in conference room B, and we're on it.
Which psychologically is huge. It tells the user, we're on top of it, not we're asleep at the wheel. It changes the IT department from being firefighters to business continuity specialists. The source puts it bluntly. AI-supported network observation is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity.
I want to challenge that just a little bit. Necessity is a strong word. I mean, small businesses have run on it, turned it off and on again for decades. Is it really a necessity?
But think about the cost of downtime today versus 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if the internet went down, maybe you organized your desk. Today, if the internet goes down, you cannot access your CRM, your email, your files, your chat tools, your inventory. You are dead in the water. We don't really have offline work anymore.
That's a very fair point.
So the experience gap isn't just an annoyance. It's a direct leak of revenue. If you have 100 employees and they all lose just 10 minutes of productivity a day to these little micro stutters or slow loading times, do the math over a year, it's a massive number. That's why proactive management becomes a necessity. You can't afford that leak.
This brings us to the metrics themselves. We've been bashing speed quite a bit. But if we aren't measuring speed, what is the new gold standard? The source material has a header that I had to read twice. It says the most valuable metric is, get this, real user experience.
The double real.
Yeah, gerçek kullanıcı deneyim. I honestly thought it was a typo in the translation at first. But the more I looked at it, the more I felt like that emphasis has to be intentional. Why say real twice?
I agree, it has to be. My take on it is this. The first real is to distinguish it from synthetic. It's not a simulation, it's actual real usage data.
Okay, that makes sense. Real versus fake.
But the second real, I think, refers to the subjective quality. It's not just, did the packet arrive? That's technical reality. It's, did it arrive fast enough for the human brain to perceive it as instant? That's experiential reality.
Oh, that's deep. It's the difference between the web page loaded and the web page felt snappy.
Precisely. You can have a web page load in 2 seconds, which technically is a success. But if the user expected it in half a second, they perceive it as slow. Real implies you're measuring the friction the human actually feels. You're capturing the frustration, not just the packet loss.
So operational efficiency comes from optimizing for that metric, keeping the human in a flow state.
Correct. The text explains that Oprobe lets companies measure everything end to end. And that phrase, all networks device configuration, pops up. It suggests that to get to the real, you need total unbroken visibility.
End-to-end is another one of those buzzwords, though. What does it actually mean in practice here?
It means there are no black boxes. Usually, IT controls the local network, but the WAN is a black box, the cloud is a black box. Oprobe tries to shine a light through that whole tunnel. It sees the laptop's config, the hop to the router, the jump to the ISP, and the handshake with the cloud server.
It stops the blame game.
That is the biggest cultural shift. Without end-to-end visibility, the network team blames the app team, who blames the ISP, who blames the user's Wi-Fi. With this, Rear just looks at the map and says, stop arguing. It's the DNS server.
Data as the ultimate arbiter.
And when you stop chasing ghosts, you start fixing problems. That's where the efficiency comes from.
So let's try to summarize the journey we've taken through these documents. It feels like we're describing a maturation of how we think about the internet.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
We started with the green checkmark illusion. The idea that our old tools are patting us on the back while the building is on fire.
Right. The tools were built for a simpler time when server up meant system works. That's just not true anymore.
Then we looked at the solution, the Oprobe ecosystem. You have the web agent watching the cloud and the local agent sitting in the passenger seat feeling every pothole in the Wi-Fi.
The holistic view, combining the macro and the micro.
We met Vera, the AI engineer, who moves us from reactive firefighting to proactive management, from showing up with an extinguisher hours late to catching the spark before there's even a fire. And we redefine success. It's not speed, which is just a marketing number. It's the real user experience, the actual felt reality of the human at the keyboard.
It all comes back to that.
I have to say, looking at it this way, it makes me see my own home set up differently. I have a mesh system, I have fiber, but I still get buffering sometimes. And I realize now I have absolutely no idea why.
You have the experience gap, you just don't have a local agent to explain it to you.
I need Vera in my living room.
We all do. But if we connect this back to the listener, whether they're running a global enterprise or just managing a small remote team, the takeaway is really the same. The network isn't just pipes anymore. It's a living organism that affects how your people think and work.
And ignoring the last meter, that messy wireless local part, is basically business negligence at this point.
It is. You are leaving money on the table. In a digital-first world, the quality of your network is the quality of your business. If your network stutters, your business stutters.
That's a crucial point. We often treat internet issues as tech annoyances, like a jammed printer. But a jammed printer doesn't stop the entire company from functioning.
Exactly.
So I want to leave the listener with a thought today, inspired by that forget speed mantra. We are constantly sold more bandwidth, more gigabits, faster 5G. But if latency and stability are the reality, how many of those fast networks are actually failing their users right now?
It's a hidden failure, isn't it?
How many times have you blamed an employee for being slow or a client for being disengaged when the reality was a 200 millisecond lag that nobody could see? If speed is a vanity metric and latency is the sanity metric, are we all just optimizing for vanity?
That's a haunting question. And I think if you could see the real metrics of your organization right now, a lot of leaders would be shocked at how much friction their teams are fighting through every single day.
The invisible friction. Well, hopefully tools like Oprobe are the start of making that friction visible so we can finally sand it down. That's all for this deep dive. Next time you see full bars but nothing loads, don't scream at your router. Blame the experience gap. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.